All right. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone. Another week of TNT Knows It All Sports. I'm looking forward to talking to you this week. It's been a nice week of sports. It's your host, Ty, and over there's my man's.
Thomas, what's up? Friday night, we're gonna have a few adult beverages just to celebrate.
That's
It's
right.
Friday. It's Friday
Uh,
night, and we're gonna feel all right, especially
hmm
after talking all these sports. So
hmm
I'll have a sip soon.
That's right. Cheers to you, brother. Yep. Um, so yeah, we got a lot to cover this week. It's been a nice sports week. Got so many topics, but we only have a limited amount of time, keep all your attention. Um, so our agenda today, we're going to first talk about an NBA trade alert. For those who have not heard, there was a major trade, so we're going to give our little insight on the NBA. It's my favorite time of the year, so gonna talk about that. And we're gonna recap our week three spotlight game, which was the 0-2 Vikings and the 0-2 Chargers. Talk about how that went, and then show what our week three results were from our picks, and then also do a recap of our teams and how they did. And then we're gonna do a preview of week four. We'll talk about the games then, and then focus on the spotlight game of week four. And if you don't know what spotlight game of week four, then well, you know more, but you should be embarrassed if you're a sports fan. No, I'm just joking. And then we'll do our last segment, which is TNT knows it all, who dropped some knowledge, um, and also what were they doing. So let's get right into it. So let's start with a different sport than we've been talking about lately, which is the NBA. When
Yep.
something crazy happens, it deserves our attention. And finally, there have been all these rumors and talks about Damian Lillard, who's, from Portland, top 75 player, averaged 32 and a half points per game, 7 assists last year, 45% from three. I mean, craziness. He asked for a
Yep.
trade out. He said he wanted to go to Miami, and instead he goes from Portland to Milwaukee. So there's definitely a different lifestyle than what he was thinking.
Right.
The weather, the culture, but he gets to play with
Uh,
Dame. I mean, Dame gets to play with Giannis, and in order to get Dame, Milwaukee traded uh, Drew Holiday to Portland, and Grayson Allen was part of that trade, and he had to go to Phoenix, which Phoenix sent DeAndre Ayton over to Portland um, as well. And there was other people in the trade. There's Keon Johnson, who was
Johnson,
traded. Yep. And there's
Nasir
Nasir
Little.
Little,
Yeah.
which I thought was I actually like Nasir Little. He's actually not that bad of a player. He's just still trying to figure out his way. Um,
Oh, he doesn't know his position he wants to play, but
right.
yeah.
And the other big move is that Portland sent Yusuf Nurkic to Phoenix. So Nurkic and Ayton play the same position. Nurkic is half the price of Ayton, and he's a bigger body because Ayton looked like he was a 3-year-old against Jokic. So at least Jokic would have to fight against somebody that's his size if they
Mhm.
play. So before we get into that, I want to hear your thoughts, Thomas. What do you think, man? What did you think of the trade? Were you like, oh, not a big deal, or how do you think that?
I mean, it's a big. Well, before I start, I hate these 2K trades. That's why I call them. If you ever play 2K,
Yeah.
and well, I'll give a shout out to John. John knows what I talk about. You put all these players in, and then you press enter and see if the computer takes them, and whatever. I call them 2K trade. As much. So let me take a step back you guys gonna think I'm a little crazy, but I honestly think that the Suns won the trade. It's my opinion, but because Portland wasn't going anywhere, and so they had a Dame, right, and they already drafted Scoot, right, so they
Yep.
have Scoot, and then they have Simmons, which I like, right, so
Yep. Simons.
They already signed him. Yeah, Simons. I'm sorry, Simons. They
Yep.
signed him to a big deal. And then they got Drew Holiday, right? Who Drew Holiday's 2 years away from his contract. His contract not that bad with 28 million.
Mhm.
So now Portland's like, I'm just gonna mortgage the future. Not really not mortgage future, but I'm just gonna have to give Dame and get what I can get, right? They got
Mhm.
some swaps the first round. I was surprised no first round picks were actually in the involved, like actual first round picks, not swaps, right?
There's
In
one.
2028.
There's
Oh, was
one.
okay.
Yeah, there's one. Milwaukee got
Whoops.
one unprotected first round pick in 2030 or 2028.
I thought it
One.
was a swap. Okay, so
There's a
okay,
swap.
so they
There's a
swap
swap. There's a swap and
20.
one.
Okay, so 2030. Who knows what's gonna happen 2030?
Yeah.
But anyways,
Right.
so and then the reason why Bucks did it, and we hear it, is because Giannis was talking about maybe the same for him. He was, which is uncharacteristic of Giannis talking about. Well, maybe people need to work harder than me, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just weird. Um, it wasn't really his Greek self, European self.
Yeah.
He's been a little Americanized. So they're taking this contract on out. Then they lose a lot of their bench. They gave Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen
Mm,
didn't look bad last year.
no.
And then
It's-
and then Phoenix, not even talk about his trade. Phoenix got Bradley Beal. Then they got Eric Gordon. And then if you look at the bench, they're going to have to call me and you to play because
Right.
I was looking at the bench like who else you got?
Right.
Then you get Keon Johnson. Keon Johnson is actually not bad. I actually
Right.
like him. Little, uh, you know, those are two guys you put in the bench because last year they could not do well in the playoffs because their bench
Right.
was terrible. Like I mean, they
Right.
had no bench.
Right.
So while Milwaukee's going all in and they still got the talent, they still got a decent bench. Phoenix, it just kind of like doing, well, not kind of, they're actually doing a smart thing and putting depth in. They're
Yeah.
like, well, we have three big threes. Like you think about it, they have three, Bradley Beal, KD, and Booker.
Hmm.
And now we have a bench that, a couple starters on the bench.
Hmm.
Who's Milwaukee? Drew Holiday is a great defender. I like Dame, but Dame don't play defense like Drew
Hmm.
Holiday.
Hmm.
So, while he scored 20 some points, is he playing good defense? We'll see what he does against Boston. Good for Bucks trying to go all in, and trying to win, keep Giannis happy. But this is why I don't like these 2K trades. That's why it's just you're
Hmm.
giving up too much for maybe 1 or 2 years. So, and
Yeah,
Giannis might not resign. Who
that's true.
knows in 2 years? So,
So yeah, I can see it. So my thoughts is I don't think any team lost. I don't think
okay,
any
I
of
can
the
see that.
three teams lost. I think they all won. It's crazy for me. The two main players in this trade I'm like huge fans of. I'm a point guard. I'm not clearly an NBA point guard, but I'm a point guard. If anybody didn't know, that's my position. So I love the point guard position. And those are two of my favorite point guards in the league is Dame Lillard and Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday is now he's not underrated. I hear everybody's finally giving him his love the last 3 years, but I haven't seen this for
Right.
years. He's the most underrated point guard in the league, him and Mike Conley. Um,
Best defender to me.
yep, definitely. Bet I think he's top three two-way players. He's probably number one now because Kawhi can't stay on the court. I mean, if Kawhi's on the court, he's the best two-way player in the league, in my period. But I would say Drew Holiday is. So you're losing, like you said, you're losing that great defense. But Damian Lillard is a bad boy. And as much as I love Drew Holiday, he can't do what Dame does. And actually, that's what hurt. That hurt the last 2 years. That is why Milwaukee's lost. Is because they're like, all right, we're gonna build the teams are like we're gonna build this wall on Giannis, and we're gonna say, Drew, you gonna hit these shots? Like you gonna score? Like are you gonna be the scorer? And Drew's not that player. Like he can score, but you know how many games have you seen Drew Holiday score 30 points? You could count
Right.
on like one hand, and it's not because it's not like he can't play. Just that's not his game. He he gets everybody else involved. He's tough. He's like, I'm gonna put all my energy on defense. I'll screen. He's not gonna take the load. Now you
Right.
got the best closer, one of the best closers of all time, in my opinion. Who I
Oh,
think,
you're gonna get
even
a
though
lot
he's
of feedback on that one, but go ahead.
yeah, and and I think I even though he's top 75, I still think he's underrated. This guy's
Who?
sixth, Dame. This guy is sixth all time in
Uh,
threes. Sixth. And it's
I
funny
don't think
because
he's
people,
underrated.
I actually think he is, which is funny. I think
Really?
he is. Yep. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to be shown this year because people are like, whoa, man, you lost Drew Holiday for Dame. Man, what are they going to do? I'm like, I love Drew Holiday. But if we're starting a team and we say, "Do you want Drew Holiday or Damian Lillard?" It's no one's picking Drew Holiday. Not one person ever. So in
Okay.
that case, you're good. Second, Drew Holiday, Dame, same age. So it's not like you mortgaged like your future per se in terms
Yeah.
of age, same age. So now you got another 32, 33-year-old point guard. But again, the guy that fits very well what they're doing. I do agree with the defensive part. However, what I saw in the playoffs is though Drew Holiday is an amazing defender, and he's gonna pest the heck out of you. He was getting murdered because you still got to score. Like great players
Yeah.
got to figure out a way to score. Jimmy Butler was putting 55 on him, and he's playing great defense, but not gonna stop him. So Jimmy Butler could still put 55 on Dame if he wanted. The problem is on the other end, Dame about to drop 55 on him too. So
Yeah. True.
so I think that's what they saw. They're like, we can play great defense, we got great length, but when it comes down to it, we need to diversify the way we score and it can't just be Giannis
Right.
downhill. And I think it's going to be Drew. Now, I'm 100% with you on Phoenix. Think it's great move for them. And also, I love DeAndre Ayton going to Portland. I think he's not a bust. I think he's going to play very well with them. Great new scenery. Young, he fits in
Yeah.
the age range, like 25 years old. So it's not like he's old, and these guys are all young. He's gonna get the
And no
ball.
pressure.
Right, no pressure on him.
Mm,
He's been in Phoenix his whole not his whole life, but since he came from out, he went to prep school in Phoenix. He went to University of Arizona. He got drafted by Phoenix. Like he's been in Arizona for so long. So if you really think about it, it's not like saying he's LeBron because clearly not. There's a lot of pressure. He's not felt a
mm.
different environment. So now he gets to go to a different environment. I don't know if you saw the interview today, but he was really excited to be there. So I'm looking forward
But
to it. And as a Knick fan, I will say this. I'm happy to see Drew Holiday not be on the Bucks because he gave Jalen Brunson fits. He's one of the few point guards in the league that can match his physicality. So
right.
I actually think the Knicks are going to do well against the Bucks early. I kind of like our chances um, early because we're playing in
Right.
that play-in, so they're in our group. So I actually think we'll do well early, and then later, as the Bucks start to figure out their way, they'll definitely. I think they're going to be one of the top teams. But
Yeah.
so anyway,
Portland got Portland got one of the most athletic teams though now, if you
yeah,
think
they do,
about it.
they do.
The- With
Sh
with
Shaden Sharp,
Simons,
Simon
yeah, Shannon
Sharp.
Sharp,
Yep,
Jameel Grant,
yep.
man, Jameer, yeah, so they're gonna be a fun team to watch. They're gonna be very athletic.
Yep, they will be.
So
It's gonna be interesting. So, NBA coming back. So took away football season, but it was great. Happy for Dame. Um, I'm looking forward because I want to see Dame in big moments because I know he's gonna shine. He doesn't. He's not a choker in my mind. I've heard comments about, oh, well, he didn't do that great with the USA team, and I'm like, come on
right,
now. It's not the same sport for one. I mean, it's the same
right,
it's not the same thing, right? Carmelo's like the best USA basketball player of all time. So what are we talking about? You know? So
true.
so
You're
anyway.
right.
All right. Well, stay tuned. More NBA to come. NBA starts, training camp actually starts next week. And first preseason games October 5th. So it's Dallas is there in Abu Dhabi. So
Well, yeah.
yep. So NBA coming back soon. All right. Well, let's get to football. All right, let's recap this really quickly. This spotlight game we had last week. It was the Vikings versus the Chargers. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do you want to just
terrible.
yeah, it was
I mean, yeah. Who it it's so it was the game that who wants to lose it. That was
yeah,
basically that game. Uh,
agreed.
what's interesting is here's some stats for you, right? The game was literally last second, last possession.
Yes. Yep.
Both had the same yards, total yards, 476, 475. Both had 11 drives.
Hmm.
Chargers were a little worse on penalties, so basically it was even game. The difference was that the Chargers could not run
Yeah.
1.5 yards per carry, and
Yeah.
the Chargers got ran on. But Justice Herbert looked good. I mean, overall, the game. I watched the game, and it was very hard to watch because of just
Yeah.
poor coaching. I mean, I'm just gonna be.
Yeah.
It just was poor coaching. Didn't seem like people were just really prepared. It was just like I don't know if the Vikings are just already done with the season, 0-2, or now they're 0-3. And then Chargers, their coach is their worst enemy. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you're going to talk about him, but
Yeah.
what are you like? What's I don't know what's going on with that guy. I mean, he
I
needs.
don't know.
Is it? It seems like San Diego always had these coaches that just don't know how to game manage.
Mm,
But I mean,
good point.
Herbert looked good. They won the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame Kirk Cousins at the end. You know, I don't think Kirk Cousins didn't even think he was going to get the ball at that yard because they thought it was going to be a punt, and they was like, oh, okay, well, here I go. So that's
Yeah.
just my thoughts. It was interesting.
Yeah. Real quick. Okay. Couple things. One, I mean, talk about a change in game where it's 24-21 Vikings. They have an interception. The guy not only drops the interception, but it gets tipped for a touchdown. So like complete change, right? That's
Right,
ends up being the winning score. Then
right.
you have who I was gonna nominate as "What are you doing?" but I figured I was gonna talk about it now. Brandon Staley at the 19-yard line on fourth down when you're up four, not 3 points, four. That means they're gonna have to get a touchdown to beat you. No timeouts. They had no
Right.
timeouts. He was like, well, if we get this first down, the game's over. Or you punt it and make them drive it 80 yards in a minute to get a touchdown. Like he goes for it, they don't get it. One of the most embarrassing calls I think I've ever seen. Like I don't even know if I would want to play for the guy anymore. Like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like I understand your thought. Like we're playing to win. You can punt it and play to win. Like that's
Yeah,
actually the
yeah.
right
It's not
play.
like Patrick Mahomes out there.
Yeah,
Like it's not like it's Patrick Mahomes, Kirk
yeah.
Cousins,
Like
but
what are you doing? So anyway, and
terrible.
then Vikings out Vikinged. I mean out Chargered the Chargers when they get the first down with like 33 seconds left. Down the ball. But you see Kirk Cousins like in his ear, like, okay, they want me to run a play. Really, and I feel bad for him.
Mm,
You could blame him because I mean, he is on the field, but somehow he's not empowered to do what he should have been allowed to do, which is spike the damn ball. They
right.
ran one
I
play in 35 seconds. Made the Dallas play, the 14-second play look not that bad. One play. And he throws the pick. And you know what? And of course, was it a great throw? No, he did hit Hawkinson in the hands, but he felt like that was their only chance, which is terrible. You down the ball, you get 3 plays. Even if you get it inbounds, you would have enough time to spike it again and have one more play. So just
hmm
terrible. These are two teams that, they both didn't deserve to win, but someone had to win. And but it's where they didn't deserve the win, but they're both extremely talented. So I'm watching this game, like a whole bunch
hmm
of ball players out there. Justin Jefferson, I mean, Keenan Allen had 215 yards, 18 catches for 215 yards. I mean, it was just crazy watching this guy play. I mean, both those guys. So, anyways, Chargers won 28-24. We both picked the Vikings, and they chargered the Chargers. So,
Right.
anyway, that's all. We spent way more time than we want to on that game because it was, like you said, Thomas, it was kind of painful to watch. Um, Another one quick thing too is that um, the Vikings blitzed I don't know how many times and got one sack. I mean, they blitzed like
Right.
80% of the time. It was
Embarrassing.
disgusting. It was embarrassing. So, all right. So we have now we can do a quick recap of um week 3 and talk about our teams. So First, if what I'll do is I will share with you guys. This is the results of week 3. So I was 7-8 with my picks, which is pretty atrocious. For 17-14, 6-9 with the spread. Thomas was 9-6 with his pick, 22-9 for the season, and 9-6 with the spread last week, and 16-9-1. So said you need to be moving back to Vegas right now after those first few weeks. You
But
know,
if I bet them now, like I'll
oh,
probably lose.
of course, that's what happens, right? It's easier to do it here. But no, so far so good. And really, we can talk about our games. One thing I was wrong on was, and you were right on, was the Bills Commanders. That was
Oh
a
yeah,
behind.
I kn-
I'm just saying I could say this, and that was an ass whooping, right? No other way to put it. I mean, 9 sacks, like it was
4 picks.
4 picks. I mean, it was really, really impressive, to say the least. So I'll let you speak on that. I don't really have much to say, but I
Oh
don't like
yeah,
the Commanders anyway, so I was kind of enjoying watching that. It was pretty fun, actually.
yeah. I mean, I just had this feeling that they're gonna whoop. I because I watched the Commanders against the first game. Like, okay, in the second game, we all know Denver. They put up a lot of points, but Denver also got 70 points on them.
Right,
But so the reason why just being a Bills homer, I know a lot of things, but Sean McDermott against technically this is a rookie quarterback. Technically, right? You think
right,
about it, it's his
right.
first year starting.
Yeah.
When he against rookie quarterbacks, Sean McDermott is just like the master. You know what I mean? Of
Hmm.
just disrupting it. Plus, just the it sounds weird, but the Bills for the first game, I think put a spark under them. And McDermott is showing why he was an amazing defensive coordinator. I mean Terrell Bernard. I mean who's
Uh,
he literally looks like a top three, Mike linebacker right now, the way he's playing.
yeah, yeah, he
And
does.
it's like, okay, you can look at the stats. That's true. He had like, well, he had 7 tackles, uh, 1 interception, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. But if you actually look at like there's cover one group that does a lot of Bills focus, all 22 focus. When you actually watch him, I mean, this is what they said about him in Baylor, but he guy's very good in space, quick zone. He's
Hmm.
100. He's what 228 pounds. So he's literally a
Hmm.
safety playing linebacker. So and he does well. So the Bills look good. What is even crazier? The Bills offense didn't even look that great. They look okay, mediocre,
Hmm.
and they won 37-3
Yeah.
because they kicked 3 field goals in the red zone. That I mean, Dawson Knox, beautiful pass by Josh Allen. Dawson Knox gave him one, and then for some reason just couldn't. Commanders did a good job with their D line,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Now here's a stat, and then I don't really want to talk much because the Bills dominated so much. I mean, I can
Yeah.
go into. I've been
Right.
spent all week on it. Here's a stat: Josh Allen only got hit once with that front line. One time, he
Yep.
only got hit.
And yeah,
Pressured 2 times,
yeah.
only
Uh,
hit once.
And
That's a stat.
it is a good stat. And then, you know what? And again, it's only been 2 weeks, but I've seen a complete difference. Maybe they're Googling, hmm, let's listen to experts that know the Bills and then look up what we're saying. Run the football, play action, max
Mm-hmm.
protect. Josh Allen's arm
Mm-hmm.
is so crazy that if you get the linebackers moving forward on play action, you have zero chance to guard. You see that one
Yeah.
play where he
Gabe
let
Davis.
Diggs, the one to Diggs, where Diggs was going
Oh
like
yeah.
and he gave him a chance to like fake the out, come back in, do another. Like that's because they had like 8 or 9 guys protecting. And you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
run 10 guys out on a route, which is what I had been telling people before, and they were getting mad at me. Like, no, you don't need to have 5 guys releasing on the route with Josh Allen. You just give him time. He will find windows. He has the arm to do that. Give him time. He's not like he's inaccurate. He's very accurate,
You,
actually. And he has
you
a
saw that
cannon.
Gabe Davis touchdown. It was
Touchdown,
it
right.
was tight end. It was max protection. I mean, the safety didn't even think the safety looked back like, did he really throw that ball?
Yeah.
It was on a rope, bro. Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
40 are like shoo, you know.
right.
So if they continue, just as long as they continue, run the ball, be balanced. when you do play action, max protect, don't go five wide, the entire game. Like it
Spread.
just
Yeah.
spread, like it just does not make sense with the team that they have to maximize their ability. So good win for them. As for me, yeah, it was pretty bad. So, I said the next last week that I thought it was going to be a tough game. It was. It was for all the
Yeah, you
reasons.
called it.
Yeah, I mean, for all the reasons I thought. People like you're home. You're just saying that. I was like, no. I remember I said we're going to spank the Jets, which we did, right? Like I know my team. Like I know, and I was like, we're not going to spank the Cardinals. Not because the Cardinals are the greatest team of all time. It's just there's a lot of factors. One of those is just the way they play. They and their coach knows us, and you could tell he's like, all right, well, let's see what Dak can do. That's what I would do. Like,
Hmm.
see, can you beat us? And the answer is no, we can't. Right. Um, Also the way they ran the ball, um, and I thought we've been getting better at that, but we our D line just played terrible. I guess it can happen. They they gave up a big play and then they were like trying to overcompensate. They were like not being disciplined in their gap coverage, and Arizona was exposing them. Um,
Hmm.
I'm happy this happened early. Again, like I said before, I still like my team. I don't think we're gonna win. Remember, I says I don't think we're gonna win them all. I don't mind if we lose. I don't care about I mean, it sounds bad, but I don't care about these games. I actually care about the games against the two teams that are really good. That's the ones we care about the most. Um, but that was tough. Also, not having three offensive linemen, which no, it's funny. No one this week was talking about that. Three starting offensive linemen down, and no one mentions that. Is why Dallas struggled. Like, well, they're struggling in the
They.
West. I'm like, man, we really were struggling for most of the game because the time wasn't great. Our running lanes weren't that great. I mean, it was just a tough game. So I'm gonna chalk it off as a bad game. I'm not being naive. I actually still think we'll be okay. I do think again the problem that I mentioned about not having Trayvon Diggs is going to show his head, and it kind of did. Stephon
Mhm.
Gilmore is a good corner. He is a good number two. He's not a great number one because he's older. And you saw that with the Hollywood Brown play. He's just not fast enough yet. Doesn't mean he's a bum, but that's a tougher ask than him
Yep.
being the number two. So, anyways, Dallas lost. That's all I'm going to talk about with them. I think they'll be fine though. Moving forward.
Yeah.
Glad they got humbled.
I mean, I look at it. I'm not talking much. I mean, they did run the ball though. Okay, with the three offensive linemen, decent. But in football, everyone's gonna have a bad loss. We're gonna actually talk about another team with a bad loss in a second. Well,
Hmm.
we're not gonna talk about it, but like Jacksonville had a bad loss. I mean, they
Yeah.
got so you got to get these bad losses out. Everyone's gonna have them, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
it could
NFL.
be Dallas. Yeah, it's NFL. If you one the one thing with NFL is if you have an off game, bro. Like if you have an off game, it just happens. And
You're gonna get beat.
Arizona, like you said, Jonathan Gannon, I'm sorry, knows their offense, and he said let Jack pass it 40 times. That's how we're gonna just
It's
let
smart.
him pass it 40 times.
Yep, it's
Right.
smart.
So
So anyway, so off to week number 4. All right, so we started off week 4 yesterday. The Lions demolished the
oh
Packers.
my God, that
Lions
was
legit, man. 3-1.
but
Um, and but again,
Packers I know about it though.
but
But
again, like exactly. This is like all these things that people forget. You don't have both your tackles. I mean, that's tough, man. I mean,
guard,
yeah, guard,
all
like
pro guard.
it's
Jenkins, yeah.
it's tough. Jordan Love didn't have any time back there, but you know what? He showed me a lot. I, I'm I'm I like the kid. Let's put it that way. I think they're good. Like I mean, if I'm a Packers fan, I feel pretty good with him. It's the perseverance that he shows. Like they were terrible in the first half. I mean, I was like, this is just bad. The line didn't get any better. He was just like, bump it. Give me a second. He's like, dude, just give me 2 seconds, please. Not 10, 2. Not 2.5, 2. You
Right.
know? And once he did that, bam, he's hitting these plays, moving his feet, making plays. He can make plays. 2 straight weeks now he's done that. So good for him. All right. Um,
I like
next.
that pass from Reed.
Oh yeah,
Reed
it's
was good.
beautiful, beautiful pass, beautiful pass. And Romeo Dobbs, man, that guy's balling. He's,
Hmm.
I mean, he's kind of the go-to. Um, so first game, the game in Wembley Stadium. So 2 straight weeks the
Oh.
Jags are going to be playing in Wembley Stadium, by the way. Or not
Mm-hmm.
Wembley Stadium,
Buffalo
in
next week.
London. Well, Wembley Stadium this week, and actually Tottenham Stadium for the Bills game next week. But yeah, this week it is Atlanta at Jacksonville. Um, so what are your thoughts with that one?
Remember
Any
when I
thoughts?
said I don't think Jackson? Yeah, yeah. I remember when I said that Jacksonville wasn't going. To, I'm just saying they wanted to. I
Yeah,
don't like the hype train, but
yeah, you did.
the problem is that imagine if Falcons actually had a quarterback that could throw the ball a little bit better. My God, I mean, I just the Bijan Robinson's looking like the real deal. I just don't see Jacksonville losing this game.
Yeah,
But if I was in Vegas, I would take the Falcons. But I'm gonna give even the spread. I was give it Jacksonville. Then they're gonna win like 24-17 or something. They got embarrassed last week.
yeah. So you said 24-13, Jags?
24-17. And
Oh,
they're gonna be the
24-7.
spread, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the three. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting game. I do think that I do think the Jags are gonna win. I mean, they gotta win. Let's put it that way. Like, you gotta win, and unlucky for them. Like, these next 2 games are home games
I know, man.
in London. So I was like, man, this stinks. That means that they will have had 4 home games out of their first 5 games. They better win this game,
Right.
like because it didn't get easier later. I mean,
Mm,
4 out of their first 5 games are home games, and 2 of them are in London. Like, man, who signed
mm.
that? Oh man, that's just oof.
The owner,
So
he probably got to cut a deal.
he probably does. He probably got a nice little
Sean,
flat,
yeah,
got a nice little flat in, Nottingham or something like that. And he's like,
right.
he was like, yeah, we're gonna stay there for a couple weeks. I got stuff to do. So I think I'm gonna go with the Jags. Like I said, I don't know if the Falcons can score, but the Falcons can run that ball, and the Jags were struggling. Um, I'm gonna pick the Jags. I'm gonna pick the Jags and to cover. All right. Next game is the oof,
We got to
you already
talk
know
about it,
what that
but
one. Oof.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Broncos. You see what I mean? Oof. Broncos versus the Bears.
Two worst teams
Um,
in the NFL, literally. Two worst
yeah, I mean,
teams.
2 teams that, yeah, they're just that bear. It's funny that the Broncos were clearly 20, I mean, 70-20 is just bad. But the Bears game,
Oh yeah.
it's like, ooh, how could you lose less and look worse? Because I'm
Fields hasn't
watching.
even passed 150 yet.
It's, it's bad, man. So anyway, the Bears are actually, I mean, sorry, not the Bears. The Broncos are actually a 3.5 point favorite.
I mean, do you have a quarter I can flip? That's how I'll pick my
Yeah.
bet. I mean, who I'll go with the Broncos because the Bears are just awful. And you
hmm
called it like I didn't think they're going to be this bad, but they are god awful.
Yeah, their defense. I mean, the offense is bad, but their defense is a revolving door. I mean, they have no chance
And,
to stop anybody. None. Zero.
and they got a defensive head coach, which is crazy.
And
Matter
he's
of course.
he's starting to call the plays now on defense, and
Well,
they
sure.
don't look
Yeah.
any better. So
Yeah.
I'm going with the Broncos too. I do think the Bears. I kind of actually feel like the Bears are going to cover though. This will be my Broncos win, Bears cover thing. Hasn't been working for me,
I
by the way. By me doing this.
I got the Broncos covering. I still
Yeah.
got 3.5. I'll take them.
Yep. All right. Next game is actually a really good game. Ravens at Cleveland. So,
Oof.
um, the Browns defense has been incredible. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah, yeah.
I knew they were going to be good, but I mean, they're arguably like the best unit, like one of the best units in football. Like I could say, I mean, if someone said the Browns had the best defense in football, I can't really argue with them. I mean, they're demolishing people on defense. Like they've given up how many touchdowns this year? One? They've
Hmm.
given up one touchdown this entire season. One. You know, it's why
But
they
who did they play? But I mean, I
I
got
mean, I
you.
agree.
So,
I mean,
so,
they played the
so,
Bengals, the Steelers, and the Titans.
Steelers. I mean, yeah.
So the
They gave
Steelers
it
are the
one
only one to
touchdown.
score.
Yeah,
And it was a long, remember,
yeah,
it's like a long slant. It's not like it's kind
yeah.
of like
Yeah, it
Dallas
was
was at first.
it
Um,
was what's the name? Pickens. Yeah.
yeah, Pickens. So, and they're actually a 2-point favorite, which means Vegas thinks the Ravens are slightly better, but the game is in Cleveland. So I think Cleveland's gonna win.
Mm,
I think
I got the
Cleveland's gonna win.
Ravens.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's gonna win the game. I'm kind of believing in them a little bit. Um, yeah, the Ravens, that's not a good loss against the Colts. Um,
That's
who
why.
did
Yeah, that's
who
what I
did the
got.
Ravens beat the first week? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the Texans. The
The
Texans,
Texans,
right. So
and then the
they,
Bengals
yep,
next.
yep, and then lost to the Colts. I think they're gonna lose to the Browns. And it doesn't mean I don't like the Ravens, because I do for a season, but I think they lose this one. And I think the Browns start off hot and then they become regular at some point. Um,
Yeah, I got the Ravens.
okay.
I got the Ravens because I just bounce back and Deshaun is just who which Deshaun are we gonna get?
Yeah, I'll talk
So
about
it'll be a
Deshaun later.
good test for Deshaun.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point though. I
So
mean, yep. Oof, it's gonna be a tough one. All right.
the,
Um, Bengals at Titans. So the Bengals are 2.5 point favorite in this one.
that's gonna be oof. Uh oh jeez, the Titans
I
have been
know.
so disappointing. So they
Yeah.
lost 2 games in a row, right? But they should have won. They
No,
should
they
probably won
no
the.
they lost the first
Oh,
game,
sorry. They
then won,
yeah
then they
they beat it.
lost.
They yeah yeah by one. They got blown out this one.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow does not look like himself. I don't know if he's going. When it's going. I just don't know what's going to happen. Joe Burrow's not going to get better. I will go with. I'm going to go with the Titans this game.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm going underdog, but
so here's the interesting thing though, Thomas. So that's why I wanted to share this. So the Titans actually opened as a 1.5 point favorite, and now they're down to 2.5 point underdog. So I think Vegas initially was kind of like you, like, yeah, the Bengals might be slightly better, maybe, but it's in Tennessee. And though the Bengals won that game against the Rams, they didn't look very good. That's not, they didn't look good still. Like, oh, it was like, oh,
yeah,
Burrow got back on track. 16 points? That's on track. Like, I'm confused here. Like,
19. Well, yeah,
yeah, no
yeah,
idea. I'm
yeah.
like, what are we talking about here? Now, of course, T. Higgins
Right.
dropped a lot of balls where he should have caught, but I thought the Rams actually probably should have won that game. It was stupid, dumb turnovers, bad penalties at the wrong time. Um, I'm sick of picking the Titans and them letting me down, but I'm gonna take the Titans with the points, for
Yeah, me too.
sure.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, they're
but
underdogs, so you got to
yeah,
take. Yeah.
but I'm gonna pick the Bengals, but I'm gonna say not to cover. So that's be my pick. All right, Rams at Colts, and
Oh,
it's a
this is gonna be.
pick 'em game.
Yeah, even. Yeah. I would love to take the over under in this game, but but
Yeah,
46.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it opened at 44 and a half, and now it's
yeah.
46.
Uh,
Ugh.
Anthony Richardson is playing right this game.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be tough. I'm probably gonna go with. I'll go with the Rams. I'm gonna go to Rams. I mean, Anthony Richardson's still playing, but Aaron Donald back. Guy, he looked like the old Aaron Donald. He's in that last game, boy.
Yeah, no, he has been looking really good.
And Stafford, he's still looking. Stafford looking good.
Yeah. Um, I'm going with the Colts.
Nice. Man, can you imagine the Colts would be first place, their first place now, but they're three
You
and one. Good
you
for
know
them.
what's interesting about the Colts is even though I was like they're gonna be terrible, they're gonna be terrible, it was because I didn't know how the quarterback play was. I thought Gardner Minshew played great last week. He was under pressure. They looked like a real offense. Not saying that Richardson didn't, but
Zach Moss, shit,
Zach,
man.
that's what I was gonna say. And, I love Zach Moss. You remember, I loved that guy coming out of college. He went to Utah. I was like, Thomas, man, y'all got a good one in Buffalo. Never panned out. I don't know. I all of a sudden Zach Moss looking like the Zach Moss I knew. And I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's also the way they are scheming things up to play. Like they're actually running the ball with
Who
running plays.
who's our coach?
Yeah. I mean, Philly's
Eagles.
offense, right. Philly's offense. So, and
Not
the
good for
thing,
Jonathan Taylor.
yeah,
But
I know that's true. And then the thing that's interesting too about the Colts is their defense. I mean, people forgot like they were actually a pretty
oh yeah.
decent defense last year. They had some injuries, but now you're starting to see all those guys get back, and their defense is tough. Like they got a
Hmm.
really good front line. You got Shaq Leonard out there. They look pretty decent. I'm gonna go with the Colts at home. It's a slight one, but I'm gonna go with them at home. And actually, initially they were a 1 point favorite, and now they're the push. Um, then you have the Bucks Saints.
Got the
In
Aints on that
yeah,
one.
in New Orleans. No Derek
I mean,
Carr, I don't think.
well, he hasn't looked that great anyways.
Yeah,
And Baker's becoming who I thought. The pumpkin is about, he's
that's true.
slowly becoming himself.
That's true. He
So
was he was dropping knowledge, and I said it was a 1 week. This is a 1 week thing, right? We said it
right.
last week. I was like, hey, I'm gonna give him his props now while we can,
Right.
because he balled out. And I know it's against the Bears, but woof, back down to earth. Um, yeah,
Winston
Jameis.
starting, right? Jameis Winston,
Yeah,
right?
this
Yeah.
is
I
Jameis.
like it.
This is Jameis's shot to me. It's a revenge
Mm-hmm.
game against his team. You know his defense is gonna ball out. Like you're getting Kamara back. Um,
Right. Right.
this is his chance. He better play well. I'm gonna go with the Saints too. But Jameis, man, he's such a turnover magnet. Um,
I know he's only played 2 games, 4 games. I had to look it up. 4 games.
yeah,
Bro, this dude is robbing the New Orleans Saints with the like. I'm
contract.
looking at starts. It's
Yeah, I
like
know.
14 games in 4 years, and he what $70 million he got out of them, 80 million
I
in
don't
four
know.
years.
I don't know
Wow,
what it was, but
good for you, Jameson. Got a lot
eh.
of crab legs he's eating over there. Good for you.
That is true. I mean, the fact that they had to trade to get their car when you had James Williams, I mean, James, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, go to Denny's. Denny's
Winston. Why I
and
say Winston? James Winston. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, go to Denny's. They got great soft crab, soft crab is really good.
Yeah.
It's right near the French Quarter.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, we got the Commanders at the Eagles, 9 point
Oh,
favorite.
I mean, let's not even waste our time on this one.
All right,
Oh, and I'm going with the spread. I mean, they might.
okay. I'm gonna go the Eagles, but I don't think they cover. Commanders might
Yeah, I'm
look
going with them.
terrible, but man, they play the Eagles well. They just do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't
true.
know why. I don't understand why. There's some certain teams just play each other well. They play them well. Both games last year were actually the first game the Eagles spanked them, but it was like a weird because the Commanders couldn't score, but the Eagles were struggling to score. It was like
Hmm.
22-0 or something like that. I don't know, something like that. But the second game, you saw Commanders went into Philly and beat them Monday night.
Right.
So
Hmm.
I think Eagles win 24-20. Vikings, Panthers. So Vikings again, they get another for game. They're 4-point favorites in Carolina.
You know what's crazy?
Hmm.
Can you imagine if the Bears get a number one, number two pick in the draft? Because
Oh
they
my
got the
gosh.
Panthers pick.
I know. Wow.
And- so,
That
and
would
the
be something.
Panthers, I mean, we'll see. The Cardinals, they want to win games,
Yeah.
but that's gonna be that would be interesting. And they can get rid of Fields. We don't have to sign him.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to go with the Vikings because the Vikings don't win this. They might as well just say goodbye to their season. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be hard to get out that hole.
Yeah. I think the Vikings are going to win. I mean,
But I think the Panthers going to cover. But yeah, go ahead.
I can see that. No, I mean, I think they're going to win. They're just they're 0-3, but they're not as bad. Even though I do think this matchup sucks for them, not because I don't think they're better, but when you want to try to stop getting turnovers, this Panthers defense is tough because that's one unit that's
Yeah,
playing pretty decent. They got annihilated a little last week, um, on the running game. So eh, Vikings, if they run the ball like they did last week, they win. If they don't, then I'm with you.
they
So
got Acres. Well,
they
maybe
do have
if
Akers to
he
see if
play.
he'll be active this week. Right, you're right. Steelers at Texans, they're 2.5 point favorite. CJ Stroud. Somebody in this place might have said that he was a pretty good player. And I was like, definitely, I wouldn't be trading, you know, down or whatever to get. I would make sure you draft him. So
Mm-hmm.
good player, man. I just said I like what I saw from him. He especially, I mean, it was one game, and they're like, well, that what's the name game? The Georgia game doesn't mean it's just one game. I'm like, but Georgia is basically the Philadelphia Eagles defense. I mean, let's be realistic.
Right, 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 right.
And he was carving them up. He's poised. And now all you hear is, oh, this guy's poised. He's ahead of his time. Like, that's what I
He was a
saw.
top recruit.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right,
that's what
right.
I saw. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's a real deal. CJ Stroud. He is the
Mm-hmm.
real deal. But he's also really going up against the Steelers defense, um
Right.
who's finally hitting their stride. Remember first week we are like, oh, I don't know about Steelers, but did say Steelers gonna be good this year. They're my playoff,
Mm-hmm.
they're both our playoff picks. Um, so I think the Steelers win, but I think it's
Yeah,
gonna be a really good game though.
me too.
I think Steelers will cover though. I think they're gonna cover.
Yeah, me too. I think that the Steelers going to win. What I'm interested to see is what's going to happen with Najee Harris. I mean, this dude's not looking really good at all.
Who you telling,
And
man?
so,
He's on my fantasy team. This guy. I'm like, I'm happy Kamara's there because Kamara was on my bench. Now I can
mm,
sub him in for Najee. But I have to
yeah,
play Najee because I got Saquon Barkley still, so I gotta
yeah.
make
I
sure.
mean, Warren's doing looking better than Najee. I mean,
No, actually,
for fantasy, I got for fantasy. He gave me 10 points because maybe got a pass.
well,
The whole so they
well,
both
Najee, yeah,
the running game.
Najee's got me more than 10 points. But yeah, I'm not expect. He's got me like 11. But that's with PPR. I mean, he's supposed to be a number one type back. He's not supposed to give me 11
Right.
points. Like and be
Yeah,
like, yes, he gave me
he,
11 points. You know?
he was he has to but the reason I'm bringing him up is because Steelers got to run the ball,
Yeah,
like
they do. Yeah.
that's their mo.
And Texas
But I
defense,
got
remember I
Steelers
said it?
too.
Texas defense is gonna be good. Remember I
Oh,
was
and they
saying
got
like
yeah,
I was like I thought they were gonna
yeah,
win low scoring games, but man, CJ Stroud, hey, I mean, Texans, good for
Tank
them.
Dell. I mean,
Yeah,
these wide receivers. I know about Tank Dell because of Houston, but geez, these wide receivers are coming
I
out of
know,
nowhere.
I know.
Nico
Nico
Collins.
Collins, yep, yep. Good old Robert
Yeah,
Woods is still
so
good, still
I know I
playing.
forgot he was in the league. Yeah,
Yep. And what's the name hasn't even started playing yet? The guy from Alabama, Meacham.
Meacham. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's just getting back to being healthy. So I'm rooting for that kid. I hope he does well. All right,
yeah, me too.
4 o'clock games now. We got the Raiders at Chargers. Chargers are 5 point favorites. No, um, Garoppolo probably. So I think he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah, my guy Adrian Cano is starting,
That's my
but
guy. I'm
against
actually
great
excited.
first start
I know.
against the
I know.
trash
I
Chargers.
know. It's kind of interesting because I think the Chargers are gonna win. The Chargers are so talented though. Like they're so talented.
Can't go
But
0-2 at home too, bro.
I do think O'Connell though is gonna have a nice game. Like I said, kind of like I'm kind of liking that line is high, but I kind of like the points. I think they're gonna score some points. But I'm gonna go Chargers. Um, Spread wise, was it 5?
5.
Mm, yeah, I think they'll cover. I think this is a get right game. You say who do you got?
Yeah, I think
Chargers?
same and cover. I think it's a good right game too.
Yep. Cowboys, Patriots.
Now
Um,
this is the gambler. So Vegas people,
hmm
this is called they call it the hook 0.5,
hmm
and I hate this. I hate 6.5 spreads.
hmm
I really hate them. But I'll
hmm
let you go. But this is where the hook pisses me off. But go ahead.
Yeah, this line's been jumping. It was like 6.5 to start, went to 7, then it went back to 6.5, went to 6, went to
I
six
hate
and a
six
half,
and a half.
6.5 again. Um, this is a weird game for Dallas. It's gonna look like the Jets game, except for the Jets. I mean, the Patriots aren't going to turn the ball over at this rate, and they'll run the ball a little bit better. But I do think it'll have that kind of feel. Um, I actually kind of like the under. It's 43 and a half. I kind of like the under. Um, because I mean, with 24-17, like something like that. I do think Dallas is going to win though. I think last week was one of the things, and I didn't want to go into too much detail, but since we're talking about team, one of the things again that Arizona was able to do was run the ball with their quarterback. Josh Dobbs, I mean,
Yeah,
that was
Josh.
that read option was tough. Mac Jones is not that guy. We don't got to worry about Mac Jones doing any read options. Okay. So they're gonna do strict handoff, you know, which we're gonna have to stop because I know that's gonna happen. Not really worried about their outside threats too much. All short passes.
Outside threat. You talking about
Exactly.
Kendrick Bourne?
Yeah, exactly. So I do think the Cowboys will win and cover, and
Yeah.
get ready for the next week, which is a big game. It's San
Yeah. So
Francisco.
you can't. So that's where football. Some teams do that. Look past the schedule,
Yeah.
but that game last week
Yep.
brought them back to earth. So
Yeah.
I will go. These are called trap games. I don't think it's gonna be trap. The
No.
problem is that imagine if the Patriots actually had a decent offense, they would actually be a very good team.
Yeah. They are a good team.
They
That's what I'm
just
saying. It's
it's
gonna be a
at
good
five.
game.
Yeah, yeah. So I would go with Dallas in the spread. Um, and then Gilmore's playing against his, old team. He's
Yeah.
not the biggest Bill Belichick fan after his exit with the Patriots, so might be a revenge game for him.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
Oh, I wouldn't touch
Cardinals.
this game in Vegas.
Well,
But go ahead.
Cardinals,
14 is just I hate spreads
San
like this.
Fran.
College football spreads. So,
Um,
I mean, you know what I mean. You know why?
yeah.
Because
No, no, no,
some
I know.
bullshit touchdown to end.
Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be this might be ugly.
Yeah. I mean, we're both picking the Niners. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, 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 yeah,
if the
yeah, yeah,
Niners
yeah,
lose
yeah.
this game, probably one of the. I mean, I haven't seen a
It definitely would be the biggest upset.
14.
It'll even be a big upset to Dallas because at least Dallas is going to Arizona, right? Like at least it was a
Right,
road
right.
game. They're at home, and the things that would work against Dallas ain't gonna work against San Fran. We're just different defenses. You don't beat
Oh yeah,
San
yeah.
Fran's defense the way you beat Dallas' defense. You don't
Read
beat
yeah,
Dallas'
read
defense the way you beat
options.
San Francisco. Right. So yeah, they can't do that against these guys. That won't work. But maybe they're creative, figure something out. My thought is probably not. Um,
Right.
so I actually do think that Niners 17-point win. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna give them the spread, but I hate betting this game.
yeah, I don't
I
want
mean,
to.
we're
I
doing
wouldn't
it
want to
because
bet. Yeah, we're still doing it
like
because,
out in
but yeah,
Vegas. If
I'm not. There's no way I'm touching this game. Put it like this: if I
I
decide
had
to
a
bet my little three
parlay
dollars, no, no way. Don't bet this game,
or
by the way.
add them into parlay.
Yeah. So you guys watching this,
Yeah,
don't bet it. Okay. Don't bet this
right.
game. If you bet it, then good luck. Um,
I do like the under in this game, but that's another thing. But 43 and a half.
that's tough. Oh, it's 43 and a half. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the next one was 41 and a half. Oh, yeah, 43 and a half. I can see that actually. I thought it was 41 and a half. I was like, I don't know about that. That's the next game. So,
Yeah.
Chiefs are 8.5 point favorites in New York. Um, yeah. I,
Are the
yeah,
are the Jets going to score more than 17 points this year?
yeah, in any game,
But
right?
but aside Buffalo, I mean they got a punt return. But I'm
Right, I got
saying
punt return, right?
I mean their offense is horrendous. But yeah,
Yeah, this is a
Trevor Simons, right? Trevor, what's his name?
Trevor
Trevor
Simeon, yeah,
Simeon.
is on the practice squad. I mean, when you think Trevor Simeon is the right guy, I mean, oof, you know your season is not very good. Now, really quick, while we're talking about that, so Zach Wilson not looking that great. However, I will also say Nathaniel Hackett really not looking that great. Okay,
Oh no,
like
terrible.
yeah, I mean, the Cowboys game they ran the ball like 10 times. Like I'm watching some of the plays, they're just not really calling plays. Why don't you ask Zach? Because Zach Wilson is not like he doesn't have talent. Ask him what plays he would feel more comfortable with. Because clearly he's not comfortable with what you're calling. You can't just call random plays. I'm sorry, he's just not there yet. Do what you think is best for him. I haven't seen the Jets do that. I don't see like the max protect stuff because that's again what I would want to do with him. Because he's got a cannon if he can let the ball go, but he's kind of got the Justin Fields in him where he likes to hold the ball. Anyway, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. But I have a funny
And the
feeling that
points.
this game is gonna be a weird game. Like I don't see the Chiefs
Really?
like I do. I I think if the Jets don't turn the ball over, I mean it's weather related too. I mean if it's a nice day, if the Jets don't turn the ball over, I don't see the Chiefs running up and down the field on them though. Like I really don't. Now the Chiefs defense
No,
is
no,
incredible. So I mean they've been
no.
playing
Right.
lights out actually. So I'm not saying the Jets
Yeah.
are gonna, but I could see it being a low scoring game, close. If the Jets just don't turn the ball over, like possessed, for a little bit, punt, let their defense stop them. Like actually, it could be, similar to the Bills game actually. And maybe you get a turnover here. I think it could be 13-10 going in. Like it could be that kind of game. It could, but
I
I
hope
don't.
it
I
is because the
Yeah,
Chiefs,
but I'm
but
I'm picking the Chiefs to cover because I mean I think
yeah, me too.
that's yeah I mean I think that's what can happen.
I mean, I got the Chiefs in the cover. I mean, if I lose that game, I would be glad to lose that game.
Yeah. All right. One last game before we get to our spotlight game, and the last game is the other team from New York, the Seattle Seahawks. Monday night. Go
New Jersey,
to
New Jersey.
Yes, yes, from New Jersey. Sorry, I forgot East Rutherford, New Jersey. Um, go
Right.
to the Giants. The Seahawks are 1.5 point favorites. They start off at 1 point underdog, actually. And the line went from 44 and a half to 47, that over. So,
Hmm.
um, is Saquon playing is a question. If Saquon plays, I would pick the Giants. So it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know at this point. If Saquon
He is
plays, I think,
questionable, right?
yeah, he's questionable. If he plays, I think the Giants will win. If he doesn't play, I think the Seahawks will win. Can't That doesn't work for radio shows, but this is Friday night, so I don't know. So
He
I'm gonna
practiced today.
yeah, so I'm gonna
He
say
did.
Saquon pending. So SP, I'm picking the Giants. Right.
Yeah, I'm picking
Um,
the Giants too.
if he doesn't play, I don't. think they're gonna win. I think it's still gonna be close. I think they have a good chance. Seattle looked good though, but Giants. I mean, of course they didn't know it was gonna look that great against San Fran. A short week. I actually feel like the Giants are not playing terrible. Their defense actually showed me a lot. They played pretty well. It's just their offense was so bad that they were on the field the entire game. So, um, yeah. Anyway, all right. So those are our week 4 picks, but we have got one last game, the spotlight game of the week. And
Yes,
no, we're not,
sir.
and now we're not homers, but we all know what this game is. It is the greatest show on grass. The Miami Dolphins go to Orchard Park and Highmark Stadium. If y'all don't know what that is, you got to go there to
Hmm.
play the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills are a 2.5 point favorite. And that line has not moved. It has stayed at 2.5. So that means that they basically think the teams are even-ish, but that the Dolphins are a slightly better team, like this much. But the
Right.
game's in Buffalo. So I'll let you go and talk about this game. I mean, I got my thoughts, but this is your home turf. So what do you think? What do you think's gonna happen? It's. I know you've been thinking about this. I know you've been scouting. I know you
Oh yeah,
you're
but I've been, me. Yeah, I'm gonna put some, let me educate some people today. Well, so the game, without going all over the place, I can go all over the place because
right.
there's so many factors. But so let me start with this. Everyone's so focused on the offense and
Mm-hmm.
the Bills defense. I'm not focused. It's the Bills offense versus Miami's defense.
Agreed.
That's the game. If now I would tell some of my Bills fans, like, oh, I love what Josh Allen has been doing. He's been smart. No, no, no. Josh Allen needs to put the cape on. It is going to be a shootout. Okay,
Yeah.
you need Josh Allen to be sugar high Josh in this game, where like
Yeah.
you just need him to run, make plays. Just
Mm-hmm.
you just gotta do it. But three things that the Bills need to do on offense, and then I'm gonna just speak on defense quickly and go to you. First, they have to establish the run.
Yes.
They just got to. The
Yep.
best medicine for a high offensive team, keep them on the
Keep them off the
bench.
bench. Yep.
That's first. And the second thing is get away from shotgun and do play action for under center, where Josh Allen has been doing really, really well. He's actually the best quarterback in play action in NFL the last 2 years. Is actually statistically, I don't want to give you it's I had it down, but look it up because I don't feel like even telling you. It's Josh Allen and then like it's Mahomes under here. He's really high, right? And
Jared
the
Goff.
third,
Jared Goff is
oh yeah,
actually.
Jared Goff too.
Yep.
Mahomes was, yeah, Jared Goff. Yeah, yeah, actually, it is Jared Goff and then Mahomes. My bad. You're right. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot about it
Mm-hmm.
because Jared Goff has like 0 interceptions in the play action.
Yep.
Um, and then the last thing for the offense would be um, do what you've been doing with the protection the last
Yes.
two games.
Yes.
It just either chip, right? Miami only got Bradley Chubb. Just Phillips is not
Phillips.
playing.
Oh, he's not playing?
Is No,
Ooh.
he's hurt. Jalen Phillips, he's not playing.
Oh,
So
wow.
Poyer's not playing either. So why?
Oh, okay.
But Phillips is not. You chip him, and then the key to Miami is that Miami, Vince Fangio, he likes to he's very aggressive on every play. He likes to blitz, very
Mm-hmm.
aggressive, but yet he doesn't want to give you anything. So he's not going to give you dink and dunks. That's why I need Josh Allen to be what he did. People have to look at Mac Jones, Russell Wilson, and Justin Herbert actually did pretty well against their
Yeah.
defense,
Yeah, they did.
right? I mean, Russell Wilson doesn't play defense, right?
Right.
300 yards with a touchdown, everything's like that.
Yeah.
So that's hard to be. On the defensive side, I get Miami has all these motion. They got the Canadian football formations over here with Tyreek Hill doing motion, everything like that.
Yeah.
Bills don't follow you; they stay in motion. So here's some stats about everyone loves Tua and said, "Oh, Tua." Somebody said that Tua is better than Josh Allen. I almost slapped the shit out of them. I almost said that. Like, are you kidding me? Here's why Tua is a good okay. So before I even get to why Tua is good, there's a difference between a system quarterback and a scheme quarterback. And I'm gonna tell everybody because everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, every quarterback system. You're right. Every quarterback does play system.
Yep.
West Coast power, vertical
Hmm.
zone. You can go down to stuff, right? But just because you play in a system, you give the quarterback plays. They can audible. They can do different things.
Right.
Scheme quarterbacks are different, right? Scheme
Yeah.
quarterbacks are people that tell you, hey, Tua, one read, get the ball out in 2 seconds.
Yep.
You show them different things like that. We're going to give you different formations and stuff. And you don't see him calling audibles. He doesn't really call audibles at all on
No.
a play, right? Here's a stat for you, Ty. If just funny, here's a great stat.
Hmm.
Tua, when has been a one read quarterback, everyone's like, oh, what are you talking about? 88% of his completions this year have been his first read. 88%.
Wow.
Here's a number. 88% has been a complete first read. And when Tua has been blitzed, which has been a small sample, 27 times.
Right.
No, sorry. 88% of first read. When he's not blitzed, he's 130 quarterback rating. When he's blitzed, and it was only 27, small sample size, you know what his quarterback rating is, Ty? 55.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's hard because you can't blitz them because
Because clearly they got
you
so much
got
speed in the back. Yeah.
yeah. So the Bills' key, and it's going to sound like basic, is if the Bills' front four played like they
Yep.
have the
Right.
last 2 weeks
Right.
without blitzing and letting the linebackers get in space and chip and do whatever things like that, they win the game, right? The problem is that the Bills' defensive line has been terrible against Miami the last every game. You think about every game
Hmm.
they had a blitz Tua, they had to do like exotic blitzes, but Leslie Frazier's not there, so that's the key. But everyone's really focused on the offense versus defense. Buffalo. I'm actually looking at the other side. Is Buffalo's offense going to show up? Because the score is going to be like 31-24, in my opinion. Bills. That's what I have.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good breakdown. I can't dispute anything. I mean, like you said, we said earlier, like stick with regardless of what happens in the game, stick with what offensively, anyways. Stick with what
Yeah,
they've been doing well. The Bills do that, they're gonna score 30 points. I mean, they've proven it the last 2 weeks, and I'm not saying.
right,
I mean, it's not like the Dolphins again. Defense is amazing. They're gonna score 30 points if they stick to what they're doing. Just that's a lock. That's the lock of the year, right?
right.
Run the ball, max protect, play action. They're gonna score. It's the other side. Man, I'm telling you, Mike McDaniel, man, that guy, and you're right. Man, he's a scheme quarterback, but that scheme is damn good.
Right.
You
No,
know,
that it is. I
yo,
can't deny it.
these guys, I was thinking, I was like, yo, you know what the Bills should probably do? They should probably go watch arena football. Like,
Right.
how do you stop the arena football teams? Like, what's the best arena football defense that there is, and then mimic it? Because that's what the Dolphins are doing now with these motions. It's not just motion to get you guys to move, it's motion to get these guys running full speed before the snap. So you got
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill already running full speed before the ball is snapped. You're screwed I mean, what can you do as a corner? He's coming full speed at you and you just took one step back. You're not dropping back full speed before the snap. And so then he's not even having to go deep. He's running at you full speed. As soon as you turn your hips, whoop, he's doing an out and in, and 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 Tua knows it. And he's hitting these balls in these pockets. And if let's say you're like, oh, I know that's what they're doing, I'm going to jump on it. He's full speed. He's gone. You have no time to recover. So it's just
Right.
great scheming. However, to me, the key on that side, and I've said this for years, and I always get arguing with Bills fans. They're like, "Oh yeah, you think we're better at this than you think." I'm like, "All right." Every time I see the Bills lose games, it's not only just turnovers; it's this part of your defense that gets exposed. The run defense have to stop the run. Sounds crazy in the most
Right.
explosive team, but that's how you're going to beat Miami. If they stop the run and actually make the Dolphins one-dimensional, like truly
Right.
one-dimensional. I think the Bills win the game. If they have
Right.
to worry about the play action, it's over. That's when they kill. That's when the Dolphins kill you. Because now they just
Right.
gave you 10 yards of gas. You do the Tua does a little play action, and he as soon as he sees him sunk in, he didn't even look. He closes his eyes and throws it right over to the linebackers because they sunk in, and that's when Waddle and You know, Tyreek did their little ends and they're wide open in the middle of the field. So they got to stop the run. They stop the run, they won't have to worry
Right.
about the play action, and I think they'll be fine. But it's a tough one, man. I
And
think the
also
I
before you
think the
start,
Bills are gonna win, by the way.
yeah, before the page, if you watch the Patriots
Yeah.
tape, what Belichick was doing, he was getting the passing lanes, using those long arms. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing that people forget that Tua is not the tallest guy. But yeah, go ahead. I mean, that's just another. If you don't get to the sack, put your hands up. That's what Bill Belichick teaches his people.
Yep.
Put your hands up. I
I think
mean,
it's 34-30. I think it's gonna be high. I do think it's gonna be a high
oh
scoring
wow, you
game.
didn't think
I do.
okay? I
And
mean,
I and I know the and
I
I
mean, I
know
would
the
bet the
Bills,
over. Shit.
yeah, and I know the Bills defense is good. They're looking lights out, but they also, again, you see who they played to. So this is
True.
everybody's stepping up on their level this week.
Yeah.
You ain't playing Zach Wilson and Howell and Garoppolo, right? You playing Tua and that
Yeah.
speed. And the Dolphins are definitely not playing, those defenses. Well, maybe the Patriots again were pretty good, but you already saw the
Right.
Chargers. The Tannehill looked like a Pro Bowl quarterback again, and he's looked like he can't even play football the other 2 weeks. So that
Yeah.
tells you the difference.
And yeah, and again, like I'm not knocking Tua great, looking
Oh
like
yeah,
the MVP, whatever.
yes, yes,
But
he's
the
doing
way I
good.
look at quarterbacks is, what if I put Tua on the New England Patriots? Are you putting, you put a good quarterback? It's just that's
Mhm.
how I look at quarterbacks. People like when you put quarterbacks, like if you put them on a different team, is they gonna make the team better or they're okay? That's
Yeah,
all I'm saying.
yep,
Not taking anything away from him. He had 5-star recruits in Alabama. Look at the team he has now.
yep,
He's been blessed. Good
yeah.
for him.
But he's very
Don't
accurate.
try to don't try
Yeah,
to. Yeah, no, he's very accurate.
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't call him Drew Brees. Like some people call him Drew Brees now.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
shit, at least give Drew Brees credit. But
Yeah,
he's good. He's a good
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah,
He's top 10 quarterback.
yeah.
So.
I agree. Your top 10 quarterback, great
But come
coaching.
on, this talk about
Yeah,
people talking about I'd rather have him over Josh Allen.
yeah.
I don't know what the
That's just
hell.
that
I
that's
can't talk.
just yeah, that's dumb.
You,
Put
you just you
put
just
Josh
you
put Josh Allen on Miami. It's over. I mean, it's over. You're done.
right.
You have no, they have no, you have no chance. You literally have no chance to beat them. None. And it's not a knock on
Yeah.
Tua. But let's say Bill Belichick were to run the same defense against Josh Allen's led Miami Dolphins. They're scoring 50 points because Josh Allen's like, oh,
Right.
word. I still throw it on you. Like, because he has the
Right.
arm to do that. It doesn't have to be timing. He's like, oh, you're gonna put your
Right.
hands in the way? Well, I'm 6'5", and I got a
Right.
cannon. So it
Right.
doesn't work.
Sure.
But anyway, that's gonna be a great game. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to watch it because I got uh activities Sunday, but I'm definitely that's gonna be a game I'm gonna be watching. So
Right.
all right, so we are covered week 4, and now we're gonna finish with our last segment, which is TNT know-it-alls who dropped some knowledge this week. Um, so I'll
Ye-
start. Um, you know, and again, this is week to week, so it's not who I think is gonna be doing this every week. Last week, one of the what are you doings was, or who was pretty bad was Deshaun Watson. Well, you know what? He gets props this week because Deshaun looked great. Man, he was dropping out. It was like, again, he heard, and I've been rooting for him. I'm like, I want you to be good because he was
Right.
statistically the worst quarterback in the league, even worse than Wilson and Fields before last week. And he must have been like, man, they trying to embarrass me on national TV at this piece, like the Great White Hype.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, he looked like Deshaun, and he didn't he took what the defense gave him. He didn't try to play outside of himself. He completed a high level of, his completion percentage was really high. No turnover. I mean, really, really, really quality game. And so I was impressed. I loved his approach. He didn't try to do too much, and he looked great. That Deshaun Watson makes
Mm,
Cleveland, a threat. So I'm gonna give him this drop knowledge of the week for me.
right.
What about yourself?
Deshaun, I mean, Deshaun still. okay to me. But yeah, hey, good. There you go, Sean. Good job for the 1 week. We had an argument about that, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, you know, Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love, we give Jordan Love some love.
Hmm.
Even though the last week with Atlanta game, I don't blame him, blame Matt LaFleur. I don't know what you're doing, but this time, as Packer, I have friends who are Packer fans. Are like, oh my God, he's terrible. They're losing. They're not doing that well. Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, he doesn't have his number one wide receiver.
Hmm.
For some reason, they can't run the ball. I don't know why. They're not able to run the ball as well. Maybe the line was hurt.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love took that adversity and said, you know what? Give me the rock. And in the fourth quarter, he just did his thing. He scored, or third quarter and fourth quarter. His last three drive, last before the end of the game, because he kneeled down. The three drives before that, a field
Hmm.
goal, a touchdown, and a touchdown. I'm talking about beautifully
Yeah.
executed plays and passes, right?
Against one of the top
So
defenses in the league, by the way,
yeah,
because the Saints
yep.
defense is no joke.
Yeah, and with all his weapons, right, on offense,
Hmm.
and he did it. And what's great is that he's his what is it, third, fourth game by now, or fifth game starting by then. And most people, aka Zach Wilson, I can go down a list of terrible quarterbacks that that fumble the time when they feel adversity and people basically booing you, right? Like what are you
Yeah.
doing? And he did pretty well.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I like the kid. He's mentally tough. I know people are like, oh,
Right,
you're just saying that. I'm like, man, that's a real thing. Like,
right,
even forget professional sports, even in like sports like leagues I'm in, like people fold. That just happens.
right.
Like choke under pressure, you don't do well, versus how do you rise to the occasion? Be like, all right, you know what? I'm not losing. So what do I need to do? So all of a sudden you turn it on. He has that.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it's only been a couple weeks, but I've seen it in multiple weeks now. Even
Yeah.
last Wednesday, they were getting annihilated. He's like, all right, well, I'll bring us back, and he tried. He actually got a couple touchdowns. So I like the kid, and he'll grow. And I think Green Bay's got a good one, so I like that one. All right, so who was your what was he doing? Like so this week, who is your what was he doing this week, or they doing, or
Well,
she
I mean,
doing?
it's not going to be, yeah, it's not going to be one individual. It's going to be a team. So that's going to be for me. I was looking something up so the Jacksonville Jaguars gave up a punt return to a fullback that runs a 4.740. I had to look it up. I think he ran no, I'm sorry, 4.840. So I had to look it up. It's Andrew Beck,
Mhm.
255-pound fullback, is actually the heaviest player in NFL history to return a touchdown kickoff for a touchdown. And if you guys watch that play, that ball was like kind of just in the air, and he just picked it up. And not only it's not like an easy run. He actually made a couple of moves
He like
and went
hurdled
down
a
the
guy.
side.
I feel like
Hurt a guy and went down the sideline. Do you know how embarrassing that is? You lost
that's
a
embarrassing.
fullback, a first off undrafted free agent, backup full. I didn't even know there's backup fullbacks that ran a 4.840. That's 255 pounds, and you also lost to the Texans 37-17. I mean, that's Doug Peterson said that's probably one of the most embarrassing plays you've seen.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty embarrassing. I mean, I had heard about it and then I saw it. I was like, wow, that is about as bad as it gets.
right.
So for me, we already talked about Brandon Staley going for it on, fourth and one. So I wanted to put him there, but I was like, nah, I'll say I already mentioned that earlier. Let's talk about another coach. But what are you doing? Josh McDaniels. You're down 8 points. You got the ball at the 8 yard line, fourth and four, with like a minute and some seconds left, or 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and you kick a field goal? Like, why would you do that? I don't. I mean, literally, when I think of what are you doing, like that was literally it. I'm like, what are you doing? There's no way. I'm trying to think of any scenario. He was like, well, you know, his explanation was even worse. Well, we kicked the field goal because we knew that we were going to be able to get the ball back and we needed to score once and then we're going to have to score again. No, actually, no, actually, that's not actually the case. You score a touchdown in a 2 point conversion, you don't have to score again. Like you are
Hmm.
actually tied. So even if they don't get it, that's the thing. I'm like, they don't get it. You because they said they had three timeouts, but that's fine. You get the ball, you give them the ball at the 8 yard line. You
Right, which
actually
is
still giving yourself a chance. Kicking the field goal and kicking it off, they're gonna get a better field position. And like there was no reason. I feel bad for the Raiders. I'm not a Raiders fan, but man, when you got a
right.
coach out there that's just doing stupid stuff, like gosh, that's just frustrating. Like, what are you doing? So it's sad. Like it make no sense to me. I'm embarrassed for them. Easy one would have been the Broncos, but they just quit. It was hot. They quit after a certain period of time. Like they're not that as bad, but once you're
They
down
got yeah.
40, once you got 42 points or 49 points in the third quarter, the game's over. So they're like, I don't care. We about to hit. Maybe I can hit up, Live on Sunday night. Get there quick. I'm not
Right.
trying to get hurt. I might try to go out before I hit this plane. So I don't blame
Hmm.
him. But what are you doing, Josh Daniels? What are you doing? All right.
Being terrible as usual.
He's terrible. He is an offensive coordinator. Crozier, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Offensive coordinator.
And it, no, that's
Yeah,
yikes.
it shouldn't be a head coach. I mean, it's cool though. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be happy that you have a good mind. You can just pick plays. He's good offensive coordinator. Head coach, man, just not a
Yeah,
good decision maker. Just give it up.
just
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, Thomas. Another good episode. It was a little long, but we had to get that NBA in there. And looking
oh yeah,
forward
no, it's
to
good.
these results of week 4. Wish everybody's teams good luck. And make sure you subscribe, give us comments, feedback. We appreciate all you guys watching every week. And we love doing this for you guys. So keep it up.
All right, take care, everybody.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
All right, later. Peace.